Three, two, one, and now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Herons Haven podcast. Welcome and good morning. It is a very, very gloomy Sunday morning here in South Florida, but it wasn't such not such a gloomy night last night in New England. Let's just say Inter Miami pulled off a very, very dominant win over the Revs at Gillette Stadium in front of a record crowd, 65,000 people. Absolutely amazing. So very excited about that. And yeah, very early this morning to well, not very early, nothing too crazy, but I guess I never really done one of these podcasts in the morning, normally right after a game. It's either literally within 30 minutes after the game is finished, or at that point, I would wait until the afternoon or evening for people to be more, I don't know, I guess, awake. But join me, have some breakfast, and we'll take 20 to 30 minutes to talk about last night, to talk about the win, to talk about Miami, the team, the new signing in Matias Rojas, the tactic, the substitutions, the questionable, still some questionable decision making, and much more. So let's get into it. First up, as always, we're going to take a look at the starting 11 that Tata Martino has decided to put out there to start the game. And just a friendly reminder, like I said previously, and like I'm going to continue to say until further notice, that no images or videos will be shown in this live stream due to copyright reasons. I've done so in the past. I would always get copyrighted, and YouTube would either take down the video or they would just completely um or like they would block a certain segment of the video and like not like distribute it to certain parts of the world or something, or I don't know. So no video, no photos, just me and our imagination. Um but yes, so the starting 11 consisted of typically a 4-3-3, right? Very typical, very basic, very simple, very Inter Miami, right? So um now that everyone's fully fit, we shouldn't really be expecting a five at the back, five midfield type formation. We should be really, this is what we should be expecting throughout the entirety of the season, so long as everything or everyone is fit and everything kind of just works out, if that makes sense. But we have Drake Callender in goal as always, which honestly I'm gonna be talking about that a little bit in just a couple of seconds. But Drake Callender in goal. In the back four, left back Negri, Freire, Aviles, and then Chelo Wingant as the right back. Negri obviously coming in for the injured Jordi Alba, who should be out pretty much until either the end of mid-May or the end of May, um, due to a muscle injury. In the three midfielders are from left to right, Ruiz, Busquets, and Julian Greso. And the top three from left to right is Robert Taylor, Leo Campana, and Lionel Messi. Um, Very strong starting 11. Obviously, not completely rotated, honestly. Negri, Taylor, and Campana are the only like rotated players as of recently. I mean, Negri is obviously in for the injured Jordi Alba, but Taylor and Campana have also been injured, and Gomez and Suarez have been taking those places, obviously doing a really good job. But now that Gomez is injured, Taylor has to be there, and Campana starts for Suarez due to which I predicted last time out, right? I predicted that Campana would start over Suarez. Due to the conditions of the field, they don't really want to put out an entire starting 11 in terms of the attack. And definitely still wanted to have options off the bench for the last 30, excuse me, for the last 30 to 35 minutes, just in case something happens. But yeah, so let's just get started talking about some individual performances. I mean, let's just say off rip that we conceded a goal in like what the first 20 seconds of the game. Um, and that's been kind of a huge problem for Miami. Always, first of all, always conceding a goal, right? They're always conceding a goal, and it's very rare that they actually keep a clean sheet. Um, the, I honestly don't remember the last time they kept a clean sheet. I was trying to look at that statistic, and honestly, I think the last time we kept a clean sheet was, I think, back when we played Orlando 5-0, and that was like the second game or third game of the season, right? So that was back in March, literally the beginning of the season. So a really, really long time. A really, really long time, which is not good defensively. We're always conceding at least one goal a game, and whether you blame that on Callender, whether you blame it on the defense, it's just a very, very huge problem, right? Now, um, there's a lot of things to talk about in that first goal, right? I mean, obviously the pass from the defense to the midfield was a very questionable one. Um, in terms of the timing of it, the speed of the pass and things like that. It just wasn't the best decision to make. Uh, and when Chancalay, former Racing Club player, amazing player, I've said in the preview that he was somebody to look out for. When Chakalai, who was playing pretty much the number 9 that game, and he doesn't normally play a number 9 ever, um, intercepted it and went straight through. Drake Callender literally decided to come to the 12-yard line and like try to, I guess, just to apply more pressure to Chancalay to see if he could make a mistake, or to potentially block the shot. But it just absolutely did not work, and it made Drake Callender look very silly. And it's it was very questionable what he did. I mean, there was just no reason for Drake to do that. Um, in my opinion, from what it looked like, Chancalay was going too far wide in order to get a proper shot. Unless like he cut back or did some other move and maybe cut in on the left and finesse. But that's a hypothetical situation. I mean, this is all hypothetical, right? But if Drake Callender never came out, what was the real threat there? I mean, like, unless all Drake had to do was cover near post, make sure the ball didn't go near post or even over his head. And I think the defender would have literally, our defense would have made sure the far post was covered at that point on recovery. Um, the fact that Drake Callender came out so far gave literally Chancalay just used his intelligence to be like, okay, you're like extremely far off your line. I'm just going to chip you. And that's what ended up to the first goal. So, not the best decision making from the defense, from Drake Callender. Drake Callender has honestly been kind of worrying these last couple games. He's been on definitely like a downward spike in terms of form. I know he's been very heavily criticized these last couple games, especially since his performances against Monterrey, conceding so many goals. But that's honest; it's not completely his fault. But he has been making a lot of questionable decision making, he has been making a lot of questionable decisions as of late when it comes to distribution, when it comes to just positioning himself in the goal, like in his area. I feel like not that there needs to be a change in terms of selling him or getting rid of him. That's what a lot of people are saying, or at least a couple of people. Maybe I don't want to say fake fans, but maybe the people who are not as in tune or not as familiar with the squad. Um, they're saying to get rid of him. That's obviously not the answer. But I definitely think that he deserves a game on the bench. Um, I think that whether it's Dos Santos, you want to put Jensen in there. I mean, go for it. I think Dos Santos giving Dos Santos another start would definitely help. I feel like would definitely help Drake Callender uh mentally. I think like mentally he's going to need to be like, okay, well, I gotta fix up because I'm making these bad decisions. He knows he's making these bad decisions. I'm not saying he's not stupid, right? Like he knows what he's doing, or at least some from some most of the time is wrong. and he knows that he has to correct himself. But I think that putting him on the bench will just kind of send well, not kind of, it will send a message to him saying, hey, like, if you don't fix this, you're going to be on the bench for this kid, this 21-year-old or 20 or whatever, how old, or this teenager, pretty much, of Dos Santos. Um, so yeah, I really hope Jay Callender picks up because he's our guy. He was our guy last year, and I want him to be our guy this year in the net. And he honestly, he's literally the only senior goalkeeper that we have. We have literally Dos Santos and Jensen, both youth, um, second team players, youth academy players, whatever you want to call them. And literally, they don't play for the first team. I think Dos Santos had one start for us, and it's not that it wasn't, not that it was bad, but he has zero experience playing for the first team with us, and I really wish he had more experience so that we can give Drake Callender not a break, but we can give Drake Callender more competition in the net. But um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we have our next game is against the Red Bulls, so I don't think Dos Santos is going to be playing against the Red Bulls, especially after we were beaten 4-0. But hey, I don't know. Maybe that's a reason for us to start Dos Santos. I don't think so. It's going to be a very difficult game. But we'll see. We'll definitely see what the future is like for this season with Drake Callender and his starting position. But the defense is overall, the defense has been good, right? Like it was an acceptable performance. Obviously they only conceded one goal due to that mistake, but especially in that first half, like the game was all ours. The defense was okay. It was just the passing around the back, whether it becomes effective, especially when you have somebody like Busquets orchestrating the back line, because you could see him communicating with the defense, telling him what to do or what he recommends, um, and it's good, right? But I think it it's very like it definitely increases the the heart rate, right? Like it definitely increases the blood pressure. It's just very like, oh my gosh, it leaves you on edge. Um, you're worried because not most of the goals, but some of the goals that we concede come from mistakes coming from distributions from the back, right? Just like in this game, it was distribution for the back. But then in earlier games, especially against Monterrey, um, where just a pass from the goalkeeper to the center back was just not was just poor, and we just end up conceding. And that's where, and it just gives me like very high PTSD, right? Like just seeing that passing from the keeper to the defense, from side to side, that low or that far back in our own half. I'm not saying to stop doing it, but we need to build more confidence doing that because we do get pressed. We get pressed very, very high. We get pressed very hard by pretty much every single team. That's like it's pretty much the tactic in every single team in the MLS is to just constantly press, 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 because you will catch your opponent making mistakes. Um, so, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying to stop it, but we need to be more comfortable and more confident distributing from the back and passing around the back to develop the play and to create space and to create chances and to kind of and get the ball in the midfield to have more control of the game. Um, but I mean, attacking wise, I mean, other than that, I can't really say much anything bad about the team in general. Everybody's played great. Busquets has done his job. Obviously, Messi getting the brace, uh, breaking records as he does for the MLS. I was looking at Twitter just to see exactly what his goals tonight meant. And so apparently, so Messi's the first player in MLS history to record 16 goal contributions in his first 7 games, which is very, very impressive, honestly, even for the best player in the world, right? Um, and it's really good to see. It's really, really good to see. I mean, in front of 65,000 fans, that's pretty much for him. It's very average, and it's just something that he does. So it's just really cool. It's really a privilege. It's very, it's a blessing to kind of see that, constantly, week in and week out. But, Substitutions that happened, right? Luis Suarez did come off the bench, 63rd minute for Campana. Benjamin Cremaschi also came on, as well as Matias Rojas making his debut. Um, Luis Suarez was expected to come off the bench, right? Playing on turf, you're not going to play Luis Suarez for a full 90, and whether you want to start him or bring him off the bench was the only debate, really. They Tata decided to go with Campana first. Great, honestly, did not like Campana, but on you have to. I guess it's okay. Like his excuse is that he's coming from injury. Honestly, so he's gonna be shaky, right? I mean, he had one shot. He didn't have a lot of passes, and if he did pass the ball, it would just not be good, right? Um, so we can cut Campana a break, right? Because he's normally really good with us, and now that we have Suarez, who does well in terms of scoring goals, it kind of shadows it, or it kind of just shows that Campana's. It showed technically the Campana's bad, but no, we'll cut him a break for tonight or last night, and hopefully that he'll continue. I mean, I know he's fully recovered, I guess, right? But hopefully, as we go on to the season, he'll get his form back for sure, and he's not gonna perform as what he did. Like he's not gonna perform like how he did last night. Um, for Suarez though, yeah, he scored, right? He scored in what, the 89th minute, and came on in like the 63rd. And as much as Suarez is a superstar player, as much as he scored goals, literally that game, like when I noticed that his game is that he doesn't really. I'm gonna sound like the biggest Suarez hater right now. He doesn't really fight for the ball, right? I mean, like he asks most of the time for long balls, then he doesn't run, right? Like, or he's very slow. I can't say he doesn't run, but he's very slow, which is totally fine, right? Like, there's no problem in being slow. It's just that there has to be a certain way of playing when you're slow. Um, but there was a times where he had a breakaway one time, and obviously he had to slow down because he had no options up front, and he's very slow. But it's then he kept like when he kept asking for long balls, he would just wait for the ball to come at his feet instead of going to the ball. Um, or like when he sees that there's like a defender on him, he would very rarely fight for the ball. I mean, he would just kind of give like a little shoulder thing, and it's like, okay, I lost it. And it's like whatever. Um, so I mean, and I'm not saying I'm expecting more. I'm not saying I'm expecting less, but it's just something that I've noticed from Suarez. And I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I mean, if he's scoring goals, like, why are we complaining, right? So I don't know. It's just it's good to see him score. It's good to see him get goal contributions. Um, I just wish we saw somebody who was quicker, who could fight for the ball, who has that grit and has that fire just to like run after the ball, fight for it, and have that strength, that physicality, and just as well as technical ability to just have the ball at their feet and score as well. But I'm happy with Suarez. Like that's not me bashing Suarez. That's just something that like I said, that I've noticed, and it works. So Benjamin Cremaschi coming back again off the bench. Obviously, he had that injury in the preseason, so he hasn't really played at all. So this is what I think his third game back or something, and he scores. He scored off the bench 70. He came on in the 75th minute. I believe he scored in like the 85th. So 83rd. I'm looking right now. 83rd minute. Rebound shot completely ignored. I literally called it when he came off the bench or around that time that he was pushing. I saw him pushing up forward, right? And there was somebody on him. There was a defender on him. I don't know who. I don't know if it was like Kessler or the other guy. And they completely ignored him once like he was behind a defender. So like once he was behind a defender's shoulder, he was completely ignored, and they were focusing on Rojas. They were focusing on Suarez and Messi, leaving Benja completely open back post, and he was able to get that rebound shot and go in. I'm very, very happy for Benja. He's a great, fantastic player, and he deserves to be in the starting 11. Um, honestly, I don't even mind him coming off the bench. Like it does really well. It does really well for the momentum of the game. He keeps it up. He keeps it alive, and he definitely create. He's an attacking option. He's a great midfield option, and him coming off the for Gressel was the right move. Um, Gressel, not that he had a poor game. Um, and I don't know what people expect from Gressel, but I think like they're kind of misunderstanding his role. But Gressel did really, really well going up and down the field, getting the passes in. And yeah, he only had like what one shot, and like he didn't get involved in any goals, right? But I think that people are underestimating his role in the midfield. Like literally, his job is to run up and down the field because Busquets is not going to be doing that. And even though Ruiz can do that, and Benja can do that, and even Redondo, I think Gressel on the right hand side is literally running and just constantly running. Like that's just him is just covering the field, and he did good. I mean, I'm not gonna say he didn't do bad, and he deserved to come off, but he didn't come off because he was playing bad. But he just deserved to come off, and it's okay and it's fine, and people need to respect Russell just a little bit more. But yeah, no, I'm very very happy with this win. It was expected. I predicted a 5-1 win, in the preview on Friday night, and we ended up winning 4-1. So very, very close to my prediction. I'm pretty much right. I mean, like guys, it's first versus worst, right? This is the worst team in the league. We're one of, if not the best teams in the league. And excuse me, and it was just inevitable for us to win. We were destined to win. It was bound to happen. Us conceding in that in those first 20 seconds was just uh not an ideal start to say the least, but um it's just yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's bound to happen. As long as we can limit the amount of goals that we concede and we continuously score, we'll be fine, which I know sounds stupid, but it just seems like we can't keep a clean sheet. Oh, it says I'm looking at the stat right there. I just saw the stat and it says here haven't kept a clean sheet in 11 matches. So not ideal, not good at all. Um, so yeah. Bet so now we're still pretty much the best team in the league. We hold after that win, we still hold our that first place spot in the supporter shield. We also are still first in the Eastern Conference, but we still have a game in hand, right? But great news, um Red Bulls drop points. They tied to the Whitecaps 1-1, and they dropped to third place with 10 points. So right now Inter Miami are in 11th. I could actually show this bit because this isn't copyright. If I can, bam, bam. So yeah, Inter Miami first place. I'll zoom in. Inter Miami first place, 21 points. Cincinnati are in second because they just beat, I believe it was Colorado. So they beat the Colorado 2-1, 18 points. So what is that? 3 points. So we're 3 points ahead with a game ahead as well. New York Red Bulls 17 points. Even if they win, they wouldn't surpass us. So even if Cincinnati win their next game, we'll still be in second place, which is great. Toronto, Columbus Crew, NYCFC are up there, which they're holding on, man. Like they're really really holding on. They've won their last 3 games, which is great for them. Who do they play? They also beat New England 2-0, which is should have been a win regardless. They beat DC United, and they beat Charlotte. So I mean, hey man, I mean, props to NYCFC. They're just being the better team. They're just, even though like they're in a rough situation, they're being the better teams, and they're winning games. DC United are not really doing well. I mean, yeah, look at this, man. New England Revolution, 1 game, 1 draw, 7 losses in 9 matches, conceded 18 goals, one of the worst in the league. Um, they lost their last 3 games. It's yeah, it was just bound to happen. So that's that. And yeah, I'm very, very happy. Next up we have the Red Bulls. Honestly, it's gonna be a very very challenging game, right? We got destroyed by them last time for nothing, and we're going to want to seek revenge. So, and this time we're at home. Uh, I believe it's literally a week from now with the next game. So it's it's going to be exciting. May 4th, Saturday, May 4th, 7:30 p.m. Chase Stadium. We need to win this game because we rarely win ever against the Red Bulls in general, right? And so the last time we beat the Red Bulls was last year. We beat them 2-0 away from home, and that was with like Messi for the first time. Before Messi, we lost to them constantly, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, yeah. And for the prediction of this game, I mean, like we're gonna have to watch for Morgan, right? I mean, like we're gonna have to watch for Morgan. We're gonna have to watch from we're gonna have to learn from last time. Last time Morgan, obviously, I believe, did he get a brace? I'm pretty sure, or I think he got a hat trick. Honestly, um, I'm gonna look up really quickly the starting 11 from that game, but they were very threatening everywhere on the field. Yeah, Morgan got a hat trick. Vincier, his striker partner, got 4 assists, and Carmona, Stroud, Amaya. They're just their midfield was just better than us. We that was when we played a 5 midfield formation with Alba, Sunderland, Busquets, Gressel, and Taylor, with Suarez and Cabana up top. This was when Messi was injured. Noah Allen, Kritsov, and Aviles were the back three. Dos Santos was in goal for that game. Um, so honestly, maybe Dos Santos is probably not going to get the start. Honestly, I completely forgot that Dos Santos was the one that played in that game, which is very ironic considering the fact that we were just talking about Drake being on the decline in form these last couple games. But maybe we should, like, I think this is another reason why we shouldn't be so hard on Drake Callender, right? Um, because he's not conceding 4 goals against teams. But I mean, against Monterrey, but it doesn't matter. That's Monterrey. That's completely different. But yeah, this is going to be a very difficult game. If we played the same lineup, honestly, I think we'll be more competitive for sure. Whether we get a win, I don't. Obviously, that's up in the air. I would love for Miami to get this revenge game, especially this would definitely give us an advantage in terms of just the point difference and in the table. So whether we win or lose, I mean, I'm obviously going to think we're going to win, especially at home with a fully fit team. Matias Rojas might make a start, or I honestly, or maybe even not. I really liked Robert Taylor on that left hand side today or last night, and I think Robert Taylor is going to keep a starting position on that left wing. Suarez is probably going to get a start. Um, if not, I honestly don't mind Campana starting again and then bringing Suarez later in the game. It worked very well. Messi, I think Messi should be getting a full 90 um, with Busi. Cremaschi might get a start. Cremaschi might get a start with Ruiz with Ruiz on the bench. I think Gressel is still a key component until at least we get Federico Redondo back. Um, but yeah, I think Benka might get a start. If not, honestly, I wouldn't be mad with Ruiz, Busi, and Gressel in the midfield with the same back four as always and Drake Counter in goal. I think if we do go away with a win, I think a 2-1 victory is a reasonable prediction. And I say 2-1. Obviously, we're going to concede, and I think we're not going to score. We're not going to put 4 past them. I don't think. But I definitely think that we can definitely come up on top. Um, in our home stadium with a fully fit team, 100%. Like we should be getting a win. Before I end the stream, I do want to talk about the recent news that I've been hearing, or at least that I've seen in the on Instagram. On Instagram, I saw Teise, which is an Argentinian news source. They made an official post saying that a player named Santiago Ledesma is the new Argentinian who will soon join the ranks of Leo Messi's Inter Miami. Just like his dad, he made the Los Inferiores de Argentinos Juniors, which is like the B team, the youth team for Argentine Juniors in Argentina. Therefore, from the 8th division to the 4th. after his family decided to move in 2020. He obviously joined Inter Miami, but couldn't play because of visa issues. I'm like reading this in Spanish, but like trying to like translate it, if that makes sense. Um, uh, chance to Yeah, so he's just been getting a lot of minutes, and now apparently he's going to be making the return to the United States, um, and make his return to Inter Miami. And so that's it's a rumor, right? And it's from the DIC, so it's a reliable source. They know the Argentinian news. They know the Argentinian players, and whether this player Santiago Ledesma will be joining Inter Miami, whether that's this season or next, or maybe he will join Inter Miami, like the club itself, and be put in the second team. Whether that happens or not is definitely something that Miami should consider if he's a great player, if he already played for the club. Definitely putting him for the B team and seeing how he plays, and then promoting him at some point to the first team, I think is definitely good. Investing in youth is always something that anybody should do, that any club should do. And I thought I should just bring up that rumor just to kind of have people more aware of it. I mean, get to have people just keep that in mind that another rumor, another player could be coming to Inter Miami from Argentina. So that's going to be the end of the Herons Haven podcast for this Sunday morning. Inter Miami versus New England Revolution 4-1, match day 11. Very, very happy with the win. The next time we play is on May 4th against the Red Bulls at home at Chase Stadium, and that is a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll be doing the preview, the review, as always, the day before the game, and either the same night, 30 minutes after, or an hour after, or the next day. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening to the Herons Haven on the SoFlo Soccer YouTube channel, and I will see you guys on the next one.